Today's episode of the Watson Weekly Podcast is sponsored by Miracle. Miracle is a global leading provider of e-commerce software solutions. Create a value flywheel for your business with AI-powered marketplace and retail media solutions from Miracle. Over 450 customers around the globe are unlocking new revenue opportunities with Miracle. What's holding you back? It's February 10th, 2025, and this is the Watson Weekly, your essential e-commerce digest. Today on our show, Trump eliminates de minimis for China. AI won't solve all the problems, but we don't realize it yet. UPS Q4 2024 earnings, steering towards margin and away from Amazon. AI is not the new SEO. Brands could be in a marketplace without realizing it. And finally, the Investor Minute, which contains 5 items this week from the world of venture capital, acquisitions, and IPOs. But first, in our shopping cart full of news, Trump eliminates the de minimis for China. Sometimes it seems like eliminating the de minimis is the only thing the two political parties in the United States can agree on. Perhaps it will all be a dog's dream and prove to be a negotiating tactic, only to be canceled by the president in another few days. As for now, the recent elimination of de minimis with China by executive order plans to roil the entire world. The losers will be, in the short term, the international air freight market. Prices should drop and the revenue of these carriers will be hurt significantly. U.S. consumers, who have never really had to know or care about duties, they will soon know, and some customers are already getting duty notices from carriers. The rest of the world is already familiar with this concept. It's not fun, and it definitely limits selection. Yes, also American companies have used the de minimis rule similarly. Quince is one example, but there are many others, including recently Amazon Haul. Supply chains will be hurt, including air freight providers who are swamped with de minimis volume, and first-leg U.S. providers in the United States who handle the volume incoming from overseas, connecting it often with the U.S. Post Office. The USPS will also lose some mid and late network injection traffic, although prices have gone up recently. And finally, regional networks specializing in this kind of volume like UniUni and SpeedX could be challenged as well in this new environment. Last year, Amazon, Shein, Temu, and Walmart captured most of the e-commerce volume growth in the United States. The question is, will tailwinds accrue and to who? Or is that whom? But how much will it affect Temu and Shein? Given the explosion of de minimis shipments into the U.S. over the past several years, it's clear this will peak and start to trail off. How quickly depends on pricing. Supply chains could continue to scramble to source from beyond China in response, likely places like Vietnam. Temu and Shein could continue to test whether more traditional bulk imports to the U.S., which would likely mean slightly less fast fashion, could still propel growth. Temu in Europe, for instance, has a €150 de minimis. It's still growing at a healthy clip, over 68% by the last measure I saw. This could embolden Europe to take further action. That could even embolden the United States to penalize Europe for continuing to offer higher than zero de minimis. Times are changing, and potentially quickly. Next week, this could all be rolled back. But for now, traditional U.S. retailers and brands with a solid value prop should finally breathe a sigh of relief. Whew. The question is your product good enough to benefit from the playing field changes? This could expose the pretenders even more if consumers don't respond. In any event, the excuses are gone. What remains to be seen is the consumer behavior and any administration walkbacks. Still the most likely outcome, however? Temu and Shein could continue to grow unabated, much like Amazon before e-commerce itself was taxed. Ultimately, an early advantage that disappears still advantages that early mover. In this case, our old friends, Temu and Shein. Our second story. AI won't solve all the problems, but we don't realize it yet. Eternally optimistic technologists and the investors that love them are currently convinced that AI can replace an entire workforce. Sadly, it seems like we're going to have to learn this the hard way. Listen, I've been studying AI since college. My master's thesis was on AI expert systems. AI can do a lot of things. Think and perform tasks, help you learn faster, research, summarize, and create, and save you a few bucks. But there are a few things AI cannot do. Build business relationships. Listen to your customers. Visit your customer's site. Go to a dinner with your best client. Have an intuition about the market or the business based on prior mistakes. And make your company fun to work at. Amongst all the talk about technology, what must not be forgotten is that an optimistic, hopeful community of humans that make companies great places to be. Listen to your customers, trust your gut, and keep your North Star. Our third story. UPS Q4 2024 steering towards margin and away from Amazon. Say what you want about UPS, they are steering the ship. However, they are operating in choppy waters. The rough waters are the slow growth of the U.S. small parcel market ex-Amazon, and the USPS rate and service changes, and the company's dependence on Amazon for growth. UPS is steering away from Amazon. 50% of its volume from Amazon will reduce by the end of 2026. That's the new policy. A few interesting stats on the call related to UPS's biggest customer. Amazon's contract came up this year, and it seems to me UPS was itching to change it. Carol Tomei likely thought Amazon was taking advantage of UPS. Amazon is 20% of UPS volume, but only 12% of the revenue. I imagine profit is far less than that, so it's a lot of song and dance for a difficult output. As part of this glide down in volume, UPS will also close about 10% of its facilities. These are real hard costs, which will reduce CapEx, maintenance, and importantly, labor costs, all of which UPS has been focused on. Incidentally, this glide down in volume for Amazon is 5 times faster than the reduction in Amazon volumes in the last 4 years. The USPS, for its part, is steering its last mile service to incent shippers to inject further upstream and not just use USPS for its last mile services. This has caused UPS to drop USPS from SurePost entirely as of January 1st, 2025. The upside of these changes, UPS is expecting to move U.S. domestic operating margin from 10% to north of 12% by Q4 2026. Those are big moves. In order to do that, UPS had to give up on its revenue growth ambitions. You read that correctly. UPS is giving 2026 margin guidance. That's a gutsy move. In terms of Q4, delivery performance was good. Average on-time service for UPS led the industry by 470 basis points over their closest competitor, FedEx. Revenue per piece finally flipped positive, but on the back of pricing increases primarily. This will make UPS a more resilient, more efficient, leaner company, at the expense of being the biggest. Where have I heard this before? Better, not bigger, was Carol Tomei's strategy since she took over UPS. Seeing the writing on the wall since you can't out-Amazon Amazon. Instead, UPS hopes to drive away price-sensitive customers and drive towards customers that will give them more pricing power. And that means stepping away from U.S. domestic parcel volume growth because the volume growth would have taken the investors into an ocean of red ink and likely putting the company in a very unstable position. Whether you like UPS performance or not, Carol Tomei has a plan and is executing it. There have been missteps with union contracts and USPS negotiations, but there is a steady hand on the switch. If you have the margin to devote to its reliability, UPS desperately wants your business, but it's going to cost. Price-sensitive shippers need not apply and should trade down, constructing their own network from regional carriers, zone skipping, and inventory placement. And our last story. AI is not the new SEO. Brands could be in a marketplace without realizing it. Brands want to be in AI, but be careful what you wish for. Things you could give up that are either already here or are coming soon. Control over your user experience. Control over what brands you are displayed next to. Control over your shipping messaging. Loss of opt-in or other marketing. Your on-site personalization efforts could also be ignored by AI. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars of brand investments could fall by the wayside? Even your platform could be completely irrelevant. Google tried to build a marketplace many times over but could never execute. AI doesn't care about building a marketplace, but you could be in one anyway. Advice of the future could look like Build a high-quality product. Build a relentless and high-quality content and media engine for your brand. Take care of customer service issues immediately so your consumer sentiment does not bubble over. Deliver fast in the event AI starts testing this too. But don't overspend on your e-commerce platform and user experience apps. Why don't overspend on your platform or apps? Because many consumers won't even see them. The consumer will be where they are, and they won't know or care if you are on Oracle, Shopify, BigCommerce, or whoever. Disintermediation is coming, and AI is in the driver's seat, powered by consumer intent. It's that time, friends, for our Investor Minute. We have 5 items on the menu today. First, influencer marketing platform ShopMy raises $77.5 million in Series B funding. Creator and influencer marketing platform ShopMy has announced that it's raised $77.5 million in Series B funding at a reported valuation of $410 million that will be used to hire talent and enter new sectors, including health and wellness, food and beverage, hospitality, and kids and family, while deepening its position in fashion and beauty. ShopMy has turned influencer recommendations into performance-driven marketing, which offers brands opportunities to reach new audiences. Second, medical apparel maker Figs turns down Story 3 offer. Healthcare apparel maker Figs has turned down Story 3 Capital Partners' takeover offer to acquire all outstanding common shares at $6 a share for the Figs shares that it doesn't already own, which would value the company at over $1 billion. The company rejected the offer and is confident the standalone plan and prospects, according to a Securities and Exchange Commission filing. Figs is another company that boomed during the pandemic is now under pressure to generate profits and revenue. Third, Consortium Brand Partners acquires home decor company Jonathan Adler. Consortium Brand Partners has acquired the iconic home decor, furniture, and lifestyle company Jonathan Adler through a strategic partnership with American Exchange Group. This is the third acquisition that Consortium Brand Partners has made in the last 18 months, and they've invested in Draper James and Outdoor Voices. This is an example of PE funds like Consortium Brand Partners investing in a theme or sector to grow revenues and are constantly looking at targets. Fourth, Bamboo Rose acquires Vertigo. Retail supply chain management platform Bamboo Rose has acquired Vertigo, an AI-based supply chain automation solution, for an undisclosed amount. The combined entity empowers retailers' claims to automate complex decision-making and unlock the full potential of its data. Were these companies competitors? And finally, Advent reaches deal to acquire Duke's Mayo owner Sour Brands. Private equity buyout fund Advent has acquired Sour Brands, a platform of condiments and seasoning brands, at a reported valuation of $1.5 billion from Falfurus Capital Partners for an undisclosed amount. Sour Brands was acquired by Falfurus Capital Partners in 2019 for reportedly around $300 million and will likely gain from Advent's consumer brand experience. That's all for this week. Till next time, Watsonians. Hi, I'm Rick Watson, CEO and founder of RMW Commerce Consulting and host of the Watson Weekly podcast, your essential e-commerce digest. Our production partner for the series is Citizen Race Car. The show is produced by Jose Baez, production manager Gabriela Montequin. To hear new episodes of the show every Monday morning, subscribe now at rmwcommerce.com/Watson Weekly and wherever you get your podcasts.